This snake is so beautiful that it kills 12 people every year. Welcome back, everyone. It's me. And today we're talking about this snake, which is found in the mountains of Asia. It has a very particular diet, is responsible for over 12 deaths per year, and has a very specific reason why it does that. We're talking about the Banded Krait. Now, while they are very venomous, they only inject a small amount of venom when they do bite someone, which leads to their nickname being the mild-mannered snake. But don't be fooled by their nickname. This snake is still deadly. So let's talk about what these snakes are all about. First things first, let's talk about how beautiful these snakes are. I mean, look at this one. Look at that pattern. They have these black bands that separate colored sections of their body with different shades of gray, brown, and yellow. And this gorgeous pattern makes them very attractive. But like most things that are very pretty, if you go anywhere near them, they will kill you. But I'll get more into that later. As far as size goes, they aren't huge snakes. They normally grow between 4 and 6 feet long, but there were reports of some being even longer. Now, one thing that is interesting about these snakes is that they need a lot of water. They are typically found in mountainous regions where there are streams and rivers because they need to stay moist. The name Krait actually means glistens like a jewel in Sanskrit, which refers to their shiny scales. They need to stay moist to keep their scales shiny and healthy. And here is where their particular diet comes in. These snakes eat fish, mice, frogs, birds, and other snakes. But their favorite meal is toads. And not just any toad, specifically Asian toads. And this isn't just a coincidence. You see, Asian toads have a specific chemical in their skin called bufotoxin, which is extremely poisonous and can cause a person to have a heart attack. The crazy part is, this poison doesn't affect snakes at all. So these kraits specifically seek out toads, eat them, and then use the toxin in their skin to poison their own skin. This means if anything tries to eat this snake, they're going to have a really bad time. This also means that they can eat toxic toads without getting sick themselves. That's pretty neat, right? Like they're immune to the poison. How cool is that? The next thing I want to talk about is how these snakes kill people. Like I said, they're not aggressive snakes, but they are highly venomous. Their venom is mostly made up of neurotoxins that paralyze their prey. If you were to get bitten by one of these snakes, you would feel the effects within an hour. Those effects include drowsiness, difficulty breathing, and blurry vision. Eventually, your muscles would become paralyzed, your heart would stop beating, and you would die. So yeah, definitely don't go anywhere near these guys. So now the question is, why do they bite people? Well, these snakes don't really bite people on purpose. It mostly happens when they feel threatened or are trying to defend themselves. They tend to be very skittish around humans and will try to avoid us at all costs. But if you grab one of these snakes or try to harm it in any way, it will bite you. Also, these snakes can hold a grudge. Seriously, there was a herpetologist named Carl Schmidt who was studying These snakes in the 1920s, he actually got bitten twice by the same snake. Yeah, he released the snake after the first bite, but it remembered him and bit him again. So yeah, don't try to pet one of these guys. Now, I want to talk about how many people these snakes kill each year. So, like I said, these snakes are mostly found in mountainous regions of Asia because they need lots of water. They're mostly found in India, China, Thailand, and the Philippines. And each year they kill around 12 people. The reason it's such a low number is because they're so shy. Like I said, they don't want anything to do with humans. So it takes a lot to provoke them to bite someone. They mostly get into conflict with humans when they're trying to find a new home. Sometimes people will buy these snakes illegally to keep them as pets, but they end up biting the owners and then they get abandoned. Some people will find them in their homes and get bitten, so they have to go to the hospital. A lot of times they're killed because they're seen as a threat to humans, even though they really don't want anything to do with us. One of the main reasons they're able to survive is because of their eggs. These snakes lay around 10 eggs at a time and bury them in the ground. When they bury their eggs, they cover them with leaves and sticks and anything else they can find. And then they guard those eggs until they hatch. Now, this is very rare behavior for snakes. Most snakes just lay their eggs and move on, but not these guys. They actually care for their young, which gives them a better chance of survival. Once the baby kraits hatch, they stay with their mother for a couple weeks to learn how to hunt and survive. Then they go off on their own to start their new lives. The last thing I want to talk about are the different species of banded kraits. There are actually 6 different kinds of banded kraits, and they are as follows: the blue coral snake, the yellow banded coral snake, the monocled cobra, the black banded coral snake, the white-throated snake, and the common banded krait. Now, I know that's a lot of names and they sound very similar, but trust me, there's a big difference between each one. They all look slightly different from each other and have different behaviors. For example, the blue coral snake is a very shy snake that's rarely seen by humans. On the other hand, the monocled cobra is a very aggressive snake that will attack if it feels threatened. As far as size goes, they're all pretty close in size, but the common banded krait is the largest of them all. It can grow up to 8 feet long, which is absolutely massive. So now the question is, should you be worried if you live in an area where these snakes are found? Probably not. Like I said, they don't want anything to do with humans. They're very shy and will hide if they see you coming. If you do decide to pick one of these snakes up, you're probably going to get bitten. So definitely be careful around these guys. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you love this channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100,000 subscribers by my 3-year anniversary, which is in July. So I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching. Goodbye.